Hey vacation dreamers, welcome to Book Solid, the podcast where two travel advisors share insider tips, talk about our favorite destinations, bucket list experiences, and everything you need to know to make your next vacation unforgettable. We'll break down what's included, what to watch out for, and keep it real with plenty of laughs along the way, while we help you plan with confidence. Let's jump in. Hello, everyone. Today we have a fun episode. We are going to rank our top 3 favorite Walt Disney World resorts. So be sure to tell us if you agree, disagree, and what your top 3 are. We'd love to hear what those are. So, Brianna, you start. And we can either go top to bottom or bottom to top.
I was going to do bottom to top.
That works.
So I picked one from each of the different categories. So between value, moderate, and deluxe, just because it's easier to talk that way. So my value option is going to be Disney's Pop Century Resort. I like this resort because this is one of 4 that has I was gonna say the monorail, the Skyliner, and I also like it because, like I said, there's only 4 resorts out of the 25 that have this mode of transportation. So I feel like it's kind of like a little bit of an elevated experience because I feel like if you have an extra mode of transportation in a value category, that's crazy. This one is also, it's not really a big resort either because it's a mirror image of one of the other resorts called Disney's Art of Animation Resort. There's a whole history behind that. I love anytime I can bring it up, but that's not for today. Um, it's just a really cute resort that's themed of the different decades. I think it's the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah. I do like Pop for the Skyliner. Like that definitely elevates that resort to the next level and makes it a lot more appealing than just like your typical value resort. So I would agree that if I had put mine and picked one from each category, which I didn't, then that would have been my top value.
I
So
will say before you jump into yours, I will say that the con, I guess, to staying at this resort is if you're a family of 5 or, that kind of thing, this one only sleeps up to 4 people.
yep,
You can if you have really young kids, but you are going to be extremely limited to space, and I would actually prefer to put you at a different resort versus staying here because these rooms are not that big because it's a value resort.
definitely agreed. Definitely agreed. So my third, and this comes with a big caveat because I liked the old way better, which is a problem I have just in general. So, living in the past, I had my third as Fort Wilderness, which I know has its following and it's not following. Now, I like the old cabins better. I get they were dated. Fully respect that. And I would agree that they were dated. They did need a little bit of love, but they were laid out and actually I feel bigger than what they are now and what they put in there. Um, and they were still a moderate resort at that time. Higher end moderate resort, but it's still considered a moderate. We liked the rustic feel. We love being able to just cruise around on a golf cart, having your own space and having your own cabin, which still you'll get with the new cabins. Um, you're a short boat right away from Magic, and we love taking the boats, so that was a huge plus for us. Um, so that's why I'm like, I love Fort Wilderness and we love the atmosphere, but I miss the old cabins. I know people have a love hate relationship with Fort Wilderness. So, but
It's a
that's
personal
my
preference.
what?
It's a personal preference. Like, there's the resorts are created for everyone for different reasons.
Yes. Yep.
So,
And it's definitely if you go during like Halloween or Christmas, take time to cruise through the campers that are there because it's also a campground. So RVs will come and winter, essentially winter there, and they will decorate their entire campsites with Christmas decorations or Halloween. Then they do a parade, and I can't remember if it's both or it might be both. They kind of do like a little holiday golf cart parade, which is kind of I've never experienced it, but I have driven around during Christmas and explored the campgrounds with all the decorations. Definitely a highlight.
I do like that resort. I do think it's got its own charm. Just kind of like that laid back vibe. I know we kind of checked it out briefly during our last trip. I thought it was really cute.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I were to stay there, I would want to have a longer Disney trip to where I could actually enjoy my time there because I feel like just a normal vacation, just a basic one, you're not going to have a whole lot of time to really, enjoy your time there. So if I were to book that resort, I would want to do like a longer stay.
Mm-hmm. And with the cabins, even before you could easily get your groceries and cook right in your space, and you can now too. But
Yes.
definitely more homey feel. What's your second one?
So now I'm going to move into the moderate category. So kind of middle of the tier. The rooms are a little bit bigger. You're going to have better water areas, like little water park areas, more to eat, all of that kind of stuff. My pick, which is not a surprise, is going to be Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. I am obsessed with this resort, along with its sister resort, which is connected, the French Quarter. But there's just something about this resort. Honestly, it could be my top favorite, but the charm at this resort, I'm just obsessed with it, just the Louisiana vibes here. We spent quite a bit of time at this resort just checking it out, and be able to see it in person made me fall in love with it even more. I actually book this resort pretty frequently, especially since I work a lot with families of five, bigger families. So this resort is really good in terms of pricing. A lot of the times it's actually cheaper to stay here among some of the other Valley resorts that can sleep five. Um, it always works out, and it's it's not a huge resort in terms of all the different resorts. It's decent. But again, there's just something about this resort that I am just completely enamored by. I just really love the vibes here. I can't.
Mine is French Quarter side of it. So yeah, right next to each other, short boat ride, walk in between.
Yeah.
And I've stayed at Riverside, but after we visited both in March, there was something about French Quarter that drew me even more. And I was like, I could just sit in this courtyard and just sit and just
Mhm.
be. Um, what's nice about both of these resorts is the boat over to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
So I think any resort that you can get a bonus transportation to somewhere is a plus. So for
For sure.
these two resorts, you're going to get the short boat ride over to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
And I love a good boat ride. So that I think kind of elevates it a little bit above even like Coronado, where you just have bus transportation.
Yeah.
Uh, with the French Quarter, you got the beignets.
Scat Cat Lounge.
So it gets a
Or is that
little,
what it's called?
yeah, scat cat. Um, and I would say both of the pools at both places are very decent and have a slide. I think that kind of elevates moderate resorts from your value resorts, your basic pool versus you have a little more element um, to the moderate resorts. I've never ate there, but Riverside has boat rights, which is a table service uh,
Hmm.
restaurant. So that's a nice option uh, to be able to eat at a table service at your resort.
I will say again, I guess a con of this resort comes back to transportation. You're still pretty limited. Once you get into the deluxe category, that's when you're really going to have more transportation options. They're not terrible, but again, like Amanda said, you're pretty much limited to bus transportation. If you're trying to get to the parks, you're going to have to kind of hop around, the different systems. You do have the boat that again will take you to Disney Springs, but I guess that would be a con of this resort is, the transportation is kind of lacking. But again, unless you get into the deluxe category, I mean that's just kind of what it is.
I mean, and to say that the buses are terrible,
No,
um, but it's something to think about and how your family works. And if you want easy access from the parks to your resort, whether it's a nap time for littles or um, end of the night, you're just a quick ride over, then it's something to consider. It's something to think about and what resort you choose.
for sure.
It's a
All right.
further away. Yeah.
What's your next one?
Well, since I just piggybacked off of your second one, go ahead. Well, I have a fourth honorable mention.
Oh,
Oh, I know.
I go that way. Okay,
Go that
fine.
way.
Then I'll throw in one too.
Well, before we get to our number ones, I have a honorable mention because I was struggling with number three. Um, is Caribbean Beach. And I know, again, it gets a lot of hate for how big it is. But I'll be honest, that's typically where I send my clients, and they really haven't said a whole lot. The fifth sleeper is a big push for that resort. Um, you have the Skyliner now, which is um, a huge perk to get you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And there's something nostalgic for us there that it was the first resort that we stayed at with Evan, my oldest, when he was 2. And we must have just lucked out on our location and where we were because we didn't feel like it was a long walk to the food. And at that time, there was no Skyliner. Um, so, and we didn't feel like it was like the buses were terrible. We only did 2 days in the park, but we really enjoyed our time there. The room was really spacious. Um, Pool was fabulous. So, like, I know it gets a lot of yuck from people, but
Yeah.
I like it. I, it's probably my fourth. If I would stay there
I
again.
would say that's why it's important to work with a travel advisor who understands these resorts. That yes, Caribbean Beach is huge. I mean, it's a beautiful resort though, but we understand where to place you and put in requests for you to be in a specific building because it's going to be closer to the pools or it's going to be closer to transportation or closer to whatever. We know where those places are. Most people don't know unless they've done the research that takes hours and hours to do. to even understand just this one resort out of 25. So, working with someone who does understand them is going to be extremely helpful so that you're not booking a room that's like clear across the river and everything, and it takes you 25 minutes just to get to the Skyliner.
Hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, that's my honorable mention.
Okay, so since we're doing that, I will go ahead and throw in mine. Mine falls under the deluxe category because there really are a lot that fall under the deluxe category. Mine is going to be their sister resorts. You probably know where I'm going with this. It is going to be the beach and the yacht club resorts. Why? Because they're still smaller. If you're not catching the drift, I kind of gravitate towards the smaller type resorts. I don't know why. I just do, probably because it's a lot more like close knit. I don't know why. I just now caught on to that. Um, I really like the theming here. It's kind of like that New England, like nautical, just very chill vibes here. Again, another thing that I go for apparently. Another huge perk that everybody talks about that makes these two resorts famous is the pool, the Stormalong Bay. This has the coolest pool, in my personal opinion, out of all the Disney resorts. It is a sand bottom pool. And I think that is such a cool little perk staying at these resorts. So that's going to be my honorable mention just because of these two resorts.
And what I like about that area, and you can lump in the boardwalk, but it's the short walk to Epcot and the back way through International Gateway is awesome
For sure.
to where the crowds are usually less. Um, you're right into France and England, United Kingdom. Um,
Hmm.
and then, but then there's also a boat that's going to take you. See, and for me, okay, clearly my like thing is transportation. Your thing is small resorts, mine is transportation. Um, a boat will take you over to Epcot too, and it's a short ride. Or it's going to take you to Epcot, or not Epcot, Hollywood Studios. The boat's going to take you to Hollywood Studios. So if those parks are like on your high on your list, then those three resorts are a potential for where a good place to stay. And then you can also hop on the Skyliner to take you to other resorts if you want to like explore those or go to dinner somewhere else or something. Um, and then also with the boardwalk and the yacht club, not boardwalk, the beach club and the yacht club, you have the boardwalk right there too.
Hmm.
So there's like extra activities
For
to
sure.
do while you're staying at one of those resorts. Um, and I think that's something I look for too is what things do the resorts have close to where I don't have to like necessarily leave that bubble
For sure.
and do something, have something to do.
And I will say, kind of piggybacking off that same idea, is let's say you're staying at Pop Century and you want to go visit the boardwalk or, any of the other resorts, you can absolutely do that. Is get in the pools. You can only utilize the pool you're staying at. So let's say you are at Pop Century and you want to go to Stormalong Bay at Beach and Yacht Club. You cannot do that. They go as far as they even have like wristbands and everything. Like they will not let you into that pool unless you are a guest at that specific resort. But you're more than welcome to go hang out, check out the place, go eat at if it is one of the resorts that has restaurants, you're more than welcome to go eat there. The only thing you obviously cannot do is use their pool.
Right. Yeah.
That was good.
That's a good point. All right. Number one,
Oh, yeah. Are you going first or me?
you go first.
All right. Again, I almost wore my little sweatshirt for it. again, being the Lion King fan I'm going with Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. There's just something about it because I am a Lion King fan, and being able to stay at this resort, be literally so close to Animal Kingdom. If you work with a travel advisor and you know how to work the system, you can get a Savannah view room, meaning as soon as you open your little blinds, you can literally see the animals. They're right there in your so-called backyard. Like you can see the giraffes and they'll be walking around, all the different animals. And I think that is just a fun experience to do. I really love this resort. I'm obsessed with it too. It's my top favorite. I forgot to say this is in the deluxe category. Sorry, I completely forgot in my excitement to talk about this resort. I forgot to mention that it is deluxe. So it is a price tag to stay at this resort, but again, they do have a lot of promotions that go on throughout the year, and you can usually get a pretty good deal. There was one for this summer. I was envious of any family that could take on that promotion and save like almost thousands of dollars to stay there. I was jealous.
It was an insane promotion.
Yeah.
It we've stayed at the Kidani side, in a Savannah View room, and it is a special experience to be able to wake up and see animals, um, and just have that extra little bit of magic,
Mhm.
um, with your resort. What the other things I will point out is, you have more dining options
Yes.
between what they call Jumbo side and Kidani.
Mhm.
Um, so you have some more options to eat, which apparently is another thing that I tend to focus on is where am I eating? What are my food options?
For
So,
sure.
and so they have, and the resorts themselves are just beautifully themed and built. Um, the pools are beautiful, gorgeous. What I like too is most, not all, but most resorts have a playground for kiddos.
Yes.
Um, and Animal Kingdom Lodges, Jumbo side, I think is where it's at. I don't think there's one on Kidani. Their playground is really nice and spacious, for kids, because that when my boys were younger, we tended to gravitate toward a playground in the middle of Disney, but we want to play on the playground.
Sure.
Um, so that one was really nice to play at that, Jumbo one. And each resort too usually has something that kind of stands out in the way of food. For Animal Kingdom, it's the zebra. They don't call them zebra cakes. They call them,
I know what you're talking. It's like a little dumb cake.
yeah,
I
maybe
know
they
exactly
call
what
it
you're
a
talking
zebra
about.
cake, but it's not a little Debbie.
No, 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 no.
That's like that's all I'm like. Don't picture a little Debbie. Zebra dome. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it's called. Zebra dome. Um, that people just rave about. So
Oh yeah.
we didn't get those. I don't think I got those. But so definitely, and I would put out the con out there is you only have bus transportation.
I was gonna wait. If you weren't gonna mention it, I was going to mention it. That's, I guess, the biggest caveat to staying at this resort because it is close to Animal Kingdom, and Animal Kingdom is the most secluded park out of all of them. So it is, I wouldn't say it's like a major drawback, but that is a pretty big con when you're staying at a deluxe resort. You're expecting more transportation options. So I guess that would be a pretty decent con staying here because you literally only have bus transportation. You can absolutely hop to, take bus to whatever Caribbean Beach or whatever, and then take the Skyliner to go to Epcot, whatever you want to do. Um, but you are limited to only bus.
Yeah. That's like the biggest drawback for that one. And you're like you said, you're really far out there. So
Yeah,
those buses like to Magic Kingdom is a little bit of a jaunt.
for sure.
The only I would say too though, because it's deluxe, you might have a few more buses in rotation
Yes, that is,
than
yeah.
another like All Stars.
For sure. That's another thing to bring up is if you do stay at like a deluxe, the buses are going to come more frequently, mostly because they're a lot closer. If you stay at a value resort, obviously they're going to be way further out, so the buses are going to take longer to get back to, that spot. So that's kind of another drawback is yes, you're going to have bus transportation, but hey, at least it's going to come more frequently than let's say if you're staying at Disney's All-Star Movies or something where it's going to take a while for another bus to come to you. I felt like we dealt with that the last trip that we had. We kept seeing bus after bus after bus and we were staying at movies and sports and music were coming. There was like one or two buses that had already come for them and we were like, "Where's our bus?" We see like 20 other buses, and none of them are for all-star movies.
You feel it sometimes, that's for sure.
Hmm.
But anything else about Animal Kingdom Lodge?
I will say, I know we keep talking negatively about bus transportation. I promise you, it's actually not that bad. If you're going to complain about anything, I mean, honestly, the bus transportation it is pretty quick. It's just sometimes it could be a little bit slower than some of the other modes of transportation, whereas like the Skyliner, for the most part, you can pretty much get right on, get to your destination, and you're done. Bus just may take a little bit longer, but I don't think I've ever waited more than like 20 minutes. That's pushing it. Like that's pretty extreme.
And to me, not having to drive everywhere and having this free transportation to get me around this massive area of Walt Disney World and its own global economy that it um, is huge. Like, we don't rent a car, we don't do any of that. We rely on the transportation that is offered. Um, so again, I there's just some days where those buses are a little more crowded than you want them to be.
For sure.
But the fact that we don't have to drive anywhere and we just are carted to where we want to go is worth it.
I will
Uh,
say quickly and then you can go. One quick thing about bus transportation. This is really big in Florida. If you have a stroller, you cannot get on that bus until you break it down. I just had my best friend go this past month. She had a double stroller. And of course, as soon as she walked up, of course, she had one of the kids asleep in the stroller, which is the one thing you want to try and avoid to keep them asleep. But unfortunately, it is state law for Florida that you have to break down your strollers. And they tried to get around it the second time they got on the bus. They're like, you know what? That was just that one bus driver. Let's just try it again. And of course, same same thing happened as soon as they got up. They were like, you need to break it down. You cannot get on this bus until you break down your stroller. So that is something to note that if you are taking the bus transportation, you're going to be expected to break down your stroller. So
yeah,
just keep that in mind if you have little kids sleeping you're gonna have to take them out. You cannot get on that bus without it.
yep. Last one, probably not a surprise, the Polynesian. I love the vibe. I love all the food options it has. We just always seem to end up there in some capacity. We haven't stayed there yet,
Hmm.
but we just always end up there for one reason or another. Um, the proximity to Magic and love myself a good boat transportation, and the boats are going to take you directly to Magic.
Hmm.
Uh, I love the smell of the Polynesian. So much so that there's a company that does like Disney scents.
Yeah.
No, I just lost it. Uh, I forgot the name of the company. Um, if I think about it, I'll insert it somewhere. Magic Candle Co. There's a couple different, but I think it's Magic Candle Company is the one that I will get, like the scent circle, like air freshener, like for your car. And I've gotten the Poly probably more than once. Um, you can watch the fireworks from the beach. The pool is awesome. Again, I haven't stayed there and actually used it, but I've walked by.
It
It counts.
does.
Um, I don't know. I love going there. We've done Ohana's for breakfast and lunch. I've um, done breakfast at Kona, Captain Cook's, which is their quick service. So that's my. We just always end up being there at some point during our vacation.
Mhm. And the towers
Then
are stunning, beautiful. So pretty.
absolutely beautiful. Have you ever been into the secret bar, Sam's Grotto?
Not yet, no.
We tried to get him. We got on the wait list, and then by the time
Mhm.
they were like, "Hey," so there's this what they call like a secret bar, and it's called Sam's Grotto, and they only allow so many people in at a time, and then so you can either get there really early or get on a wait list, and then they text you. And by the time they texted us our last time, we were already back at our other resort.
Oof.
We were like, never mind. Um, the other one of the other hacks is if you wanted Ohana, you couldn't get into Ohana, you can sit in the lounge, right, Tambu lounge right next to Ohana and still order the noodles, the pot stickers, um, chicken wings, I think, and then whatever drinks. If you want like a fancy drink, they have their lapu lapu that it's in a pineapple. That's really strong. But I think I might have gotten it once or tried it. I can't remember. But that's my top number one Walt Disney World resort. Um, that I
I
think
find it funny that none of ours, like we both have different things that we seek out in our resorts, which I thought was funny. I was expecting at least one of them to overlap in some capacity. I guess you can count Port Orleans,
Orleans did.
but there were still two different resorts. Like you picked French Quarter, whereas I picked Riverside. So I just think that's funny that, I tend to gravitate towards like the smaller, close-knit smaller type resorts, whereas your big thing is like transportation and the food options. I just think that's funny. But again, like I said earlier, the resorts are created like for specific groups of people. Like it's not geared towards anyone who is trying to go to Walt Disney World. Like there is a certain type of client that they're trying to like what's the word? Like
Target.
seek out, I guess,
Yeah.
or try and get to stay there. So I think that's funny.
And it could be, I mean, I've got two boys. So I tend to look at it from that side to where I need easy access
True.
with my kids. To where when it was just Luke and I, like we stayed at the All Star Sports. A, it was cheap. B, it was just us. So the buses weren't a problem. We didn't need, like, we were spending all day. The pool wasn't a big, like, draw for us because it was November. Um, but so there's definitely things like that to where I think can affect perceptions and not perceptions, but interest. I don't know. But like you
Yeah.
said, it caters to certain families and people.
Mhm.
And like you've had a couple stay at Coronado Springs
Yes.
to where that wouldn't be my first place to put a family because there's only that one mode of transportation.
Exactly.
Right? And it is a large resort.
Yeah.
Um,
Coronado Springs is another massive resort that, again, I also would not put families here unless they specifically stay preferred. But again, there's other options, in my opinion, that I would rather book them at.
mhm.
Um, not hating on Coronado Springs. I have nothing against it. I think it's an absolutely
It is
stunning
a
resort.
beautiful resort.
Again, I think it's geared toward a specific clientele of people, and it wouldn't be my first choice for families, honestly.
Yep. Yep. Your top 3, 4, whatever you want to do in the comments, and we would love to hear what your top resorts are. And go ahead.
No, that I was just saying, very excited. I can't wait to see what everyone's top resorts are because everybody's is going to be different. I'm excited to see because I've done this on TikTok too, kind of the same idea. And I just love seeing why people love certain resorts. It's fun.
And we will see you next time. That's it for this episode, Vacation Dreamers. We hope you picked up some tips, ideas, and a little extra magic for your next adventure. If you enjoyed hanging out with us, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for even more travel tips and updates. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep planning, and we'll see you real soon.